Moldova is a small but beautiful country.
Moldova has a rich nature, and agriculture is the main source of income in our country.
Moldovan people are beautiful, hardworking and friendly.
Unfortunately, a great part of the Moldovan work-able population is forced to work abroad.
Every year, the Moldovan villages become less and less populated, and those who don't leave the country have to put up with many problems.
The most vulnerable category of the population are the children, who are growing up without their parents or away from one or both of their parents.
During this difficult period, it's extremely important for the tens and hundreds of children in this situation to be able to have a decent life. This includes high-quality education and a normal physical and psychological development.
The quality of the education of a child depends a lot on his extracurricular activities, on his hobbies, on his interests, but also on the feedback he gets in exchange for those.
Without a single doubt, it is known that the books, the computers, the educational materials stand at the base of the growth of a healthy personality. In our country, the access of children from social vulnerable families to new books is becoming a problem.
We tried to find out what's the situation in the libraries from several regions of the country, and we concluded that the village libraries are in the worst conditions. Many of them don't even have the right conditions to function, and the still active ones have a limited amount of old books or one old computer. You cannot really find children's books in villages.
The lack of funds, the economic crisis that's present for years now, the high prices for books and educational materials set in Moldova are worsening the situation of such necessary institutions for children and for young people in general.
We believe that this situation can't be tolerated, because that means worsening our own future. Education in all its forms must be at the core of the development of any nation. That's why the deplorable situation of the libraries from our villages are an indicator of a not so bright perspective for the future.
We decided to tackle this problem and to make a change other than the support of our public authorities.
And because great things start with little steps, we decided to start with the villages that we come from. We decided to start with Cojușna.
In Cojușna, we came upon the same prices in all three libraries of the village. We decided that it would be a good idea to brainstorm and create the idea of a project that maybe would help make the situation better.
Most of the votes were for a project of social entrepreneurship, which would systematically generate funds for filling the shelves of the local libraries with new books and new equipment. We decided to create an apiary.
Why bees? Because Cojușna has a favorable environment, because it doesn't require great initial investments, and because it can be sustained by undeveloped by only 2 or 3 people, and because it can bring a considerable income from the first year of the activity.
Exact calculations allowed us to conclude that it is a real, efficient and profitable project. We decided that 50% of the income would be reinvested in the growth of the business, and the other 50% would be invested in the endowment of the libraries, for the good of the children from the villages.
This is the way to assure a constant and long-term funding for the libraries, but it's also just a new local business for the village, so it's beneficial both ways.
To implement our idea, we will need a budget of 8,300 euros, 1,800 of which would come from local sources.
We will, of course, start with a low budget, but our goal is to build a socially oriented business, a small but constant engine of alternative funding.
According to our plan, in the fall of 2017 we will already be able to provide the first acquisitions to the children and students of Cojușna, and this makes us very happy. Then, each year we will select another village, we'll assess its necessities and will try to cover them according to our plan.
What mostly keeps us motivated is the idea of social responsibility, especially in the private business area, which needs to become more popular. By these means, we hope to raise awareness among those involved in the entrepreneurial field, and maybe they could join our cause and help us not only in Kožušna but in the entire country.
Imagine that in a couple of years there will be about 4-5 businesses of this type and with a similar goal in every village.
We are convinced that we need to come up with innovative, constructive and sustainable ideas. Thus, our campaign is an educational one, before being an economical one. We aspire to share a new culture, that of social responsibility among Moldovan youth.
Small steps, positive and strong effects are the key to building a healthy economic society.
The rehabilitation of the libraries is just the first step, and only together we can prove that our vision is a generous and fair one.
Children all around the world have the right to develop and to grow healthy, to gather knowledge and to pursue their own passions.
Check the description of the project below and help us to transform the lives of thousands of children. With your support, a project that will make our country better will be born.
Thank you!